What's up, math fans? Today you have to know pretty much everything there is to know about a circle. You have to know the distance formula, so those are some other videos that I have out. And now I'm going to introduce the midpoint formula. Think about what the midpoint is. The midpoint, it's the middle point. So if you have 2 points, 2 endpoints they're called, of a line segment, and you want to find the middle, that's the midpoint. How is this useful in real life? I don't know, you live here, your friend lives here, you want to meet in the middle so it's fair. That's finding a midpoint. The middle is also kind of known as the average. Think of 2 numbers. If you play sports and you score 10 points in a game and the next game you score 20 points, what is your scoring average? It's the middle number, it's 15. Let's say you got a 70 on a test and then you got a 90 on a test. What is your test average? It's the middle. It is, what did I say, 70, 90? So it's the middle would be 80. There is a formula for finding the average of 2 numbers. The average of 2 numbers is simply adding those 2 numbers. So let's say you got a 70 and then you got a 90. Adding those 2 numbers and then dividing by the amount of grades, or the amount of numbers. In my examples was only 2. So you add them up, divide by 2. So that's, what is this? 160 divided by 2, and that is 80. So I was right, it's the middle number. Okay, so finding midpoint is finding the middle. There is a formula for this on a graph as well. So let's imagine a graph for a second. So if I graph any 2 points, let's say I have a point here and I have a point here. And to differentiate, I don't know the coordinates, so I'm going to call this one x1, y1, and this one I'm going to call x2, y2. x2, y2. That's a 2. So if I need, let's say I connect the points and form a line segment, and I want to know where is this middle point, I'm going to call that M for midpoint. How do I find that? There's a couple of ways. One is you put it on graph paper and you simply count boxes. And you can kind of go up and over, up and over, up and over until you get to the middle. As long as it matches down and over, down and over, down and over, you know you've reached the middle. But there's a formula for that. The middle from here to here is the average of the x values. The middle from up to down is the average of the y values. So here's your new formula that you need to know. I believe you need to memorize it because I don't think it's on the any test sheet, any formula key. So here it is. It's the first x plus the second x, and the average of those 2 is divide by 2, comma the first y plus the second y, and it's the average of those, so divide by 2. So the midpoint is a new point, meaning coordinates, and then so this should give you, I'll call it xm comma ym, the x midpoint comma the y midpoint. A lot of people for some reason forget this comma and they think they're supposed to add here or put an equal sign here or something. No, it's finding the x midpoint, finding the y midpoint. That's it. All right? It's finding the average. Now here's some specific examples. Let's say I want to find the midpoint M of a line segment where the endpoints are A and B. So one is to imagine it, graph it, or you can just find it using this formula. I'm actually going to do both. So first, here's a rough sketch. -5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. -5, 6 is right here. I'm going to call it A. And on graph paper, it's very easy. You just count boxes. Here's B. 3, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2 is right here. Call it B. And then you can use a straight edge to connect the dots. And then you start to count boxes. 1 down, 1 over, 1 down, 1 over, 1 down, 1 over. And I know that's confusing because that's how they explain slope. I'm not finding slope, I'm just kind of cheating to see how do I walk to the middle. So now you got to go 1 up, 1 over, 1 up, 1 over, 1 up, 1 over. And wherever you find yourself in the middle, it's the midpoint. It's easy to just count. But what if these numbers are so big that they don't fit on a graph, or it's just too far away and you don't have time to count boxes? Well, let's use the formula. I'm going to label my points like I do for distance formula also. x1, y1, x2, y2. So let's find the average of the x values. So that's -5 plus 3, average, divide by 2, comma, 6 plus 2, average, divide by 2. Get a calculator, use your brain, and here's your answer. -5 plus 3 is -2. Negative 2 divided by 2 is actually negative 1. 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So there's my midpoint. I'll call it M for midpoint, and it is negative 1, 4. And what's pretty cool is I kind of knew that just by counting. I can see that it's negative 1, 4. So you can just count, or you can use your formula. Good? Good. Next one. Here they give you gotta be careful when you read these questions because it's never gonna be that easy. Maybe it might be. They give you A, they give you M, and they want B. A lot of people don't read that and they just find the midpoint from these 2 points. That's not what they're asking. Check this out. 4, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4, 7 is here. 7, 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 7, 9 is here. So this is my A, this is my M, and people will say, oh, I need the middle, I need that point in the middle. No, no, this is the midpoint. So you have to imagine that this line segment continues and there's some other point over there called B, and you have to find B. If M is the middle, where is B? So again, graph paper, you make it very easy. You just count. How do I get from A to M, whatever up, over, up, over, up, over is? I continue doing that to get to B. So if I go up, over, up, over, up, over, then I got to do it again. Up, over, up, over, up, over, there's my B. So counting is fine, but I'm going to do it algebraically. So here's my formula. I know B is going to be x comma y, okay? So I'm going to find the average of these two, and there's my answer. What does that mean? Let's look at the x values. 4 plus x divided by 2. This will give me my midpoint of 7. Same thing with the y's. 7 plus y divided by 2. That will give me the 9, the y midpoint. So basically, I'm using this plus this over 2 equals xm, and then this plus this over 2 equals ym. So let's see. What would I do to solve for x here? Put the 7 over 1 and cross multiply. So if I need room, let me get some room here. Excuse me. Okay. So 7 times 2 and 1 times 4 plus x. So that's 4 plus x equals 14. I subtract 4 on both sides and I get x equals, that's 10. X equals 10. Now, same thing here, put the 9 over 1, cross multiply. I'm going to go a little higher because I think I'm running out of space down here. So I got 7 plus y equals 18, right? 9 times 2 is 18. Subtract 7, y equals 11. So my answer is 10 and 11. So B is 10, comma 11. And I kind of already knew that just by counting boxes. So you can solve it geometrically, you can solve it algebraically, you should get the same answer. Now, what's the point of this? How does it all come together in word problems? They might ask you something like this. The diameter of a circle has endpoints here and here, -3, -4, and 3, 4. Write the equation of the circle. How does this connect to this? What are you even saying? Well, let's visualize it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, -3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, +3, 4. Those are the endpoints of the diameter. So that means from here to here, if you get a straight edge, you'll make it perfect. That's the diameter of your circle. What's a diameter? It's a line that goes through the center of a circle from one endpoint to another. So you can now imagine that there is some circle that exists around that diameter. What do you need to write the equation of a circle? You need the radius and you need the center. Well, how can we possibly find the center? Here's a clue. If these are the endpoints, the center is the midpoint. So do exactly what we did, find the midpoint of these 2 points. I'm going to let you write this one out yourself. I'll just tell you what it is. -3 plus 3 divided by 2 is 0 divided by 2, which is 0. -4 plus 4 is 0 divided by 2 is still 0. So your center is actually coincidentally and conveniently 0, 0. 0, 0, right? Then, how do you find your radius? That has nothing to do with this video. The radius is actually the distance from here to here. So then you use your distance formula. What I would do, I would plug these two numbers in the distance formula, and then whatever my distance is, which works out to be 10 by the way, I would then divide by 2 to find my radius, 5, and then write the equation. X squared plus y squared equals 5 squared, and I'm done. So the part that I left out that you should be doing on your own is plugging these 2 points in the midpoint formula. Hopefully you'll get 0, 0. Then plug these same 2 points in the distance formula, and hopefully you'll get 10, but 10 divided by 2 is my radius, which is 5. All right, thanks for watching. See ya.